Thank you so much for listening to Give It to the People Live. We appreciate every one of our listeners. We want to make sure that you continue to love this show. So feel free to send us suggestions to giveittothepeople.com and also give us a 5-star rating. We love those.
Hello. Hi. Welcome back. So it's another great week that's out here to be on these good internet streets with you. And we are bringing you another episode of Give It to the People Live. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn our little background music down. But I want to introduce myself to anybody who may not know me. I am Chisa Penix Brown. I'm the Chief Curator of Give It to the People, which is a mental wealth company. We're based in Greensboro, North Carolina. We help you to get your mind right and your money right. And we started this podcast a couple years ago, actually, to highlight Black-owned businesses, BIPOC businesses, and women-owned businesses, and then people that support those businesses. So this is our way to just really shine a light on those people, to let people know about what's going on, to provide resources for you in the community. And we interview somebody awesome every week. So this week, oh my God, this person right here, love her to death. Okay. And so you will see why, but we are really kind of rounding out our Black History Month. And then we are transitioning into Women's History Month. And with this particular episode, no matter when you listen to it, it's still going to be timely, because we like to make sure that when we talk about the mind right and the money right, that you really understand that. So I'm going to bring on our guest today, which is LaShon Harley. So LaShon, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am wonderful. Okay. She is the lead igniter. And so I just want you to tell them, when, you get that title as far as being the lead igniter at your company, I want you to just tell people, what does that really mean to be the lead igniter, and then how you help people?
Yes. So just full disclosure, I use the Lean Model Canvas. And hello, everybody. And the Lean Model Canvas by Asha Maria talking about your unique value proposition in 3 to 7 words. So I was always about trying to describe myself in 3 to 7 words. Well, I went to a John Maxwell training, and he said, "Can you describe yourself in 1 word?" I was like, ooh, 1 word. So I went around and asked other people, what do I do for you? How do you see me? And people kept saying, you spark things, you fire people up, you fire up. I said, like igniting? They're like, yes, that's exactly what you do. I said, so I'm like an igniter. They said, yes, and that's how the name came about. So I didn't put it on myself. Mm-hmm. I actually got it from people who I worked with, people who I'm colleagues with, people who see me volunteer. And they said that I fire people up and things. I was like, well, I can't fire up. So my mind, as an entrepreneur and a counselor, I started thinking about, well, how do you solve that problem of describing that? And that's how the word came up. And I'm the lead igniter because I am the primary person that people meet with. And I can also lead you to your ignition. And I have no problem with you going to somebody else to finish the process. Mm-hmm. I don't have to walk with you all the way through. As long as I lead you to the illumination, the elevation is my words. As we illuminate what it is, it helps to elevate it into becoming.
Yes, and I love that. And so you, like myself, are very intentional with the words that you use. And I always tell people, I'm just like, listen, if this was on your epitaph, and, this is what's going to be written, forever about you, and somebody just walks up, they see that gravestone. I mean, should you choose to get buried? What are the words that you want people to know about you? Like, what would you want them to know? Like, what did you leave as a mark on this earth? And I feel like that's an important thing, which is then probably why you transition the company into being and becoming. And so you're talking about igniting them, starting it, but letting them then go on their own way to kind of figure out what they want to do. And just for anybody, if you're just joining, we're talking about like the business coaching side of things, like getting people to a point and then saying, listen, okay, well, now you're good, so you can keep on going. But can you give us a little background on being and becoming and what made you even create this company?
So I've been in some form of business. I call it A to T, because I haven't gone past the T in the alphabet yet. Writing is coming up. So I've been an advisor, a coach, a counselor, a consultant, an instructor, a teacher, a mentor, a presenter, a speaker, a trainer. I've done all of those different things, and I've done them under some form of LAH, which is my name, my initials of my name. So in talking and figuring out who I want my customers and clients to be and what I want them to get, I said, is that sufficient? So I still have the LH, and now it's companies as my overarching. And people are like, well, you got plural, but you're just one. I said, bigger things are coming. I don't set things up for today. I work on today to get me to the future. I'm shooting for the moon, but I got to go up my steps to get there. So I'm talking about where I'm going, which is that part where you talk about words. I'm doing legacy making, destiny fulfilling. So that's where I was looking at. So I was calling into being, even though I was working for people when I was doing it, because my first business consulting position was to a nonprofit organization. Well, I had all these different names, and I talked about all the things I was going to do with folks, nonprofit, for-profit. And actually, the name first came about with a webinar I was going to be doing. Actually, I was the Small Business Center director at Durham Tech, which I did for 9.5 years. The other law, yes, folks, there's some more laws out here. LaShon, people confuse us. And she does a wonderful presentation on talking about being ready and becoming fundable. And I had already had being in mind. And I was like, ooh, being and becoming. And then it fits one of my favorite quotes by William Shakespeare, really the only one you'll hear me say the most. To be or not to be, that is the question. I said, that's two B's, B-E-B-E, being and becoming. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started that process. But I was like, is this still really what my business is about? So I went on and did that, got the logo and everything, and it keeps evolving. The more I talk about it, the more I get further and closer to who I wanted. And I said, you know what? I heard someone say starting over. Mm-hmm. I'm like, but we shouldn't start over. Because starting over means you may do the same things the same way. And then Albert Einstein said, that's insanity to do the same thing the same way and expect different results. We should be better than we were before. Mm-hmm. And then also I took from TDJ, so he said, be ready, be ready. And then I heard a sermon of his where he said, I say that wrong. You got to get ready. Because if you're not ready when the opportunities come, then you're going to lose out on that opportunity. Mm-hmm. So that's why being stuck and becoming. So and I said, oh, I can change this in so many different ways it fits. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm focusing on being better and becoming your best. Mm-hmm. So notice I took the same thing I talked about with Latasha being and becoming, and that's her baby. I'm not in that lane. So that's why I don't have any problems with that. But mine is being blank and becoming blank. Mm-hmm. So your vision is going to be illuminated so it can become elevated into existence. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's just short, being and becoming. But depending on who I'm talking to and what I'm doing, I put words after it. So right now, my thing is being better and becoming your best.
I love that. Now, when you look at this, our topic for today was focusing on broken to better and building your vision. And when you say that, I know that a lot of people, they may interpret it a whole lot of different ways, right? Yeah. And so when I look at it, I kind of look at it from a business standpoint of like, listen, something just didn't work, and so now let's just see what we can do. And I always say, the vision is the vision's the same, but how you get there could be totally, completely different. Like I had this vision for something that I wanted and I didn't get it the way that I wanted it, but I'm still here, right? So when you say broken to better, building your vision, what does that mean for you and the people that you want to attract?
So the people who I definitely want to attract are the people who feel, as they're going toward their vision, they feel isolated, misunderstood, and misguided. That I've really honed in fact, and this is within the last month, I've honed in to those group of people because of who I was starting to have interaction with more, and because it's broken because people told you it can't be done. Ooh. People told you it shouldn't be done. You got to understand when a vision is given to you, you're the only one that sees that vision. So the thing about it is that it's not about can it be done. It's about how it should be done, where it should be done, with whom I should do it for, and with whom I should do it with. That's is the key there. So people break people down, break down their ideas. So that's the negative side of the broken to better. It's the fact that you can build your vision. It's somebody who has to get into it. Now, am I going to take you on the far extreme side and just because your vision is way out there? A lot of times people have ideas they call their vision, but that's not their vision. It's called that starting with why, with Simon Sinek made famous. But for me, I started with why with Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, when he says you got to understand your purpose. Because see, there's power in knowing your purpose. Nobody else may know it or do your purpose, but with the power, when you know your purpose, you got power because then you can say they don't understand. But I'm going to show them. I'm going to be like the state of Missouri, the show me state. I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. Because actions speak louder than words. So my thing is, let's build your vision. But even though it was broken, then the other side is some people are so, and I'm so glad you said what you said about vision. So many people buy into the idea of what they're going to do rather than the vision. And yes, I'm name dropping because I don't take credit for anything I hear somebody else say. If I can't remember, I'll say that, but I'm going to give names not for you to follow them, but to let you know those are not my words. I'm not taking their words. So T.D. Jakes was out, and I've actually at Maxwell Leadership Conference, and he said, too many people marry their idea. If you're going to marry anything, marry the vision, but be flexible on what the ideas may be to get to that vision, and be flexible even about your vision, because as you go there, you may realize what you were told at the beginning. That was only part of the story. Actually, you weren't ready to handle the ultimate vision of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. But it had to give it to you like a little piece. So that's why I say broken, because sometimes we got to break down what we already have in mind so that we can see how to get there from where we are. I'm a firm believer of you come backwards. You go, what's my vision? Now let me come back to where I am. So many people take people from where they are to the vision. No, because where you are is already smaller than your vision. Let's start with the big vision and then move backwards and get to how I start small, but not how I'm going to be small. That's the being and becoming. It's not about you being small, it's about you starting small. So that's why it's about broken from the negative side where people told you it can't be done, it shouldn't be done, it wouldn't be done. And then the people in the middle. You tried it and it didn't happen. So now you're broken because you may have lost everything. You may have been shattered. Everything you thought should have happened. And COVID shook up the whole industry with that.
Yes.
The problem is that you're broken to better. An egg is better once the shell is broken. An egg can't do anything for me when it's got the egg on it except for being a nice little thing on the shelf as an ornament.
That's it.
I got to break it. Either I got to break it when it's not cooked so I can scramble it into the batter, becoming the batter, or what I can use it for. Or I got to break it when it's been hard boiled so that I can eat it. It's of no use to you beyond looking pretty. And that's what happens with a lot of people. They sit on, I got a dream. This is what I want to do. But what are you breaking in order to make it happen? So I'm giving you all the different analogies of how you thought that was just one little thought, one word, but it has so many different layers.
Yes, it does. And you know what you are giving me right now, I feel an affirmation coming on from what you said. I'm gonna have to write some stuff down.
There you go.
Because, I think the thing is, like, when you say the igniter, like, I'm listening to it and, I hear you. I've been to classes, we talk, and had you speak at certain things, you've had me speak at things. And I always feel like there is still a lesson, right? And so no matter how much you've heard somebody talk, there's always a lesson in it. And like, I had a person come to class last week. I did a beginning Instagram class. This person did not need to be in the beginning Instagram class, but she came and she was like, well, look, I saw it, so I figured I could learn something. So then she's sending stuff and she's like, oh my God, I learned some more stuff. Like, I've been using it, but I didn't know this. And what I want to say to that is, in relation to what you're saying, is things do change. So what was in a certain way and how you used to do things may not necessarily be what you need to do now. And so in that transition of kind of finding out, listen, I am broken. I recognize that. And I do need some help. what is it that you would say is kind of, and I don't necessarily think it's like a secret sauce, but some steps to getting a person, once they recognize it, for them to really take the step to see, okay, well, I need to do something different. Like I need to approach this differently. And one of the things that I think that you're great at is, I'm going to give you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ideas. Like you came with one thing, you had one thing in mind. And then when you leave LaShon, honey, you like, oh my God, it's so many things. So like, I'll be like, listen, okay, so I might not be able to do that right now, but I'm going to put that in the back burner. Like this is the idea. And so the extra ideas. So the person's coming to you, they know they need help. How do you then come up with all of these different strategies to be able to take them to that, that next thing so that they can get into a position to be able to make it work for them?
I listen. That's the first thing.
Yes.
And listening is different than hearing, and I teach on this also. Hearing means something we do automatically. The words come in, we get definition and things of that nature. Listening is getting that person's perspective and understanding and what they want and how they want it, and then providing that information to them. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I listen. I listen for what they say and what they don't say. And then I ask some questions, why and why not? I'm like a little kid. I want you to feed me the information because I need you to get me on your pathway, not my interpretation of your pathway. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like one lady, I take some people to when they were 3 years old, going back and then progressing to where they are today, because there's usually, we don't change our purpose. Who we are is ingrained in us from the moment we were created. Mm-hmm. And you start seeing it and how it cultivates. So then I listen to them and then I start throwing ideas and I tell people I'm going to come from the far left and the far right. You're somewhere in the middle of that. So I'm going to give you different ideas and then you're figuring out it's not going to hurt my feelings if you don't do my ideas. My thing is, again, is to break that box that you're in. A lot of times we take our vision and we put in the box. And let me apologize to everybody out there. For those of us, because yes, I'm in it, who's been a business consultant, business coach, business advisor, trainer, educator, we say start a small business, start your business small. Mm-hmm. What we've done is we've told people to start a small business. We didn't say, let's take your vision and start a small version or portion of your vision. Mm. That's what I do. I said, what are all the different boxes we can put in the vision? Now put the vision in the box.
Come on, somebody.
I said, okay, let's look at all these different things. And to give you folks an example, in case people are like, this is still over my head, I'm not getting it. I just finished teaching a class for someone at a university where the students are in their 4th year. And I said, I want to start a business. In fact, I want a doggy daycare. Mm-hmm. I just happened to have money in my pocket that day because my spiritual mother wanted me to go grocery shopping for her. So I actually had $100.10. I said, help me start a doggy daycare. It's $150,000 to start. Mm-hmm. And they were like, you need a business plan stuff. I said, who's going to give me money with a business plan? Mm-hmm. And I had to get them to start thinking. Starting small and how I come up with the ideas is, why do people want a doggy daycare? Some people want their dogs to socialize with other dogs. Isn't there a park free near your house? Can't you do something where people can come with the dogs together? You can walk dogs. There are people who do exercises like mommy and me exercises. They do doggy and me exercises. Mm-hmm. Some people you can babysit. That's all you're doing is babysitting. The daycare. It's a doggy daycare. Mm-hmm. So what do you do at a daycare? You mind the dogs. You can have people bring the dogs to you. How much does that cost? Mm-hmm. And better yet, my favorite one is going to their house. I use their electricity. I use their water. I use their food. I don't have to have anything but my body and get there. Mm-hmm. And I can still scale that. Then I had a young lady say, well, I do massages, maybe doggy massages. And there were folks like, doggy massages, but there were folks like, ooh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I've seen it online.
And then there are doggy Ubers. There are people who are the drivers for you. I'll take your dog to any appointment need to go. I'll go pick them up from the house and take them wherever they need to go. They're just a doggy Uber, a doggy Lyft. Mm-hmm. Difference is they go in and get the dog, make sure they're situated. Who are these people? Customers. Mm-hmm. These are people who treat their dogs like a child.
Humans, yep.
Like their baby. Mm-hmm. And some people will, just like a mother may go without food for their baby, that's what these people will do. People think it's about money. No, it's about that psychographic. So that's where I throw ideas out, because people tend to put their vision in a box of what they know. They don't know what they don't know. And people like to say, and this irks me, all they had to do was ask, and I would have given them. If I didn't know, how I'm going to ask you a question? I don't know it. So how am I going to ask you a question? My goal is to throw things out there, and even you may go explore and get some other information. So that's how I ignite and get those ideas going. And I don't even know what my ideas are going to be until I say it. Sometimes I was like, ooh, that's good. And sometimes, and I do full disclosure. So just like I am a business owner, I consult people with businesses. I let them know, and I do it through organizations also. I'm contracted to do it as a third party. To do that services. I did full disclosure, people. I said, look, I'm a business coach. I don't call myself a mentor. Other people call themselves a mentor. I do all this stuff, but my goal is I need to let you know we got some similarities. And I tell them up front. So it's that thing, and when people when you understand them and they understand that you're understanding where they're coming from, I don't see their full vision. That's when they give you more. You can give them more.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the idea generation portion, we don't put enough emphasis into that. And it's kind of like when you do the lean canvas, right? And you get to the part where it says revenue streams. And to me, of course, solving the problem, the solution, right? Who's the customers, all of that, the metrics, how you're going to pay for it. But the revenue streams are always the thing that I think is one of the most important parts of that, because you can have one business and figure out 10, 20 different ways how to make money from that one business. And so I think if more people wouldn't be so just stuck in a way where this is the only way that we can do something, and they could figure out another way to do it, it would make life easier. So when you're counseling people and they come to you, you want the people that are a little bit stuck. You want the people that have had some failures, because then they understand that they do still want to be successful. And when you're working with people, or people are saying, well, look, I'm thinking about coming to you, LaShon, what do you want them to get from you? Like, what is the thing that, you feel like is kind of like when they say on there, your unique value proposition, the thing that they're not going to get from somebody else?
So this is the teacher side of me coming out. So just for those who say, well, what's the lean canvas? If you go to Lean Stack, LeanStack.com, you'll see a lot of the information by Ash Maruya, who created it. So I didn't want to leave anybody out from it. And it's 9 blocks that are there. And one of the blocks is the revenue streams. Now I'm gonna come off the teacher mode. Okay. So the revenue streams, a lot of times I go back to that problems and the existing alternatives, because they said how are people addressing it and what are they doing and how you can look at it. Then I look at the purpose. So I alter my lean canvas. I put purpose at the top. I got that from the social lean canvas. So I always say, well, what purpose? How can we get the different aspects of your purpose? And then I also take people back to when you were in those people's shoes, especially people. A lot of times people are doing where they're coming from. I go, if somebody came to you with that, would you pay him? They go, you know what? No, and I said, if you said it that way, would you have used them when you were back there? And they go, oh, okay. And what are some other things you wish were around that could have helped you? Well, I wish they had this. I said, okay, those are all categories. Yep. Now we bring into what may be available today that wasn't available. TikTok hasn't always been around. Nope. Understanding the value of YouTube has not been around. LinkedIn has gone to another level. But we don't go just to every social media. Anybody who tells me everybody is their client, we're going to stop right there. We accept money from everybody, but everybody doesn't want you. Everybody's not willing to pay you. And those who are willing to pay you, not everybody's willing to pay you what you're worth and the value you add. So what are the different things that you can add value? And it's getting back to that, what can you do with you by yourself? If you can't hire employees yet, what can you do by yourself without draining yourself? That also, what are some things that we call sleep money? And so, and y'all kind of cheesy because, I happen to do a lot of stuff with the digital products. That's one of my go-to people for that. What can you do with sleep money that's helping you to make money?
Yes.
Oh, who can you collaborate with? And collaboration, we only think of collaboration for one time. No, who has the people you're looking for? How can you all collaborate? How can you revenue generate? All that is marketing dollars, people. I'm giving them my money. That's your marketing dollars. They're marketing you to other people they already got as their trusted folks. So that's the different revenue streams that you can look at is how do I get to my people? What do my people need? And then being open to hearing it. Because one of the things you talked about, Chisa, about the ideas, and then we get stuck on one thing. Our problem is we're now a subject matter expert. We think, well, everybody should want it my way. If you do it your way, we're going to call you a hobby. Because you're not listening to your customers. The thing is, and Chisa and I both have gotten training in this at different times, is that opportunity discovery. It's not about having a great idea. It's about seeing an opportunity and taking advantage of it. Taking advantage of it is mean giving people what they want, when they want it, how they want it, that they're willing to give you what you want, the way you want it, and how you want it. That's the exchange of value. Our problem is this is the way I want to do it. And then the last thing I want to put out here that we've come across is people leave money on the table. And what I mean that is you want to give people your A game for C price. They would have been happy with your C level at C price and thought you were the best thing since sliced bread, but you wanted to add. That's why those are premiums. You add on to that, and there's a cost for you doing that. Stop giving people all of your stuff. Been there, done that. I can talk about it all day long. Been there, done that, where I gave folks, I'm going to give them my A game. But they were paying me C prices, and some of them weren't paying me that at all because somebody else was paying me for them. So in their mindset, I was free. So that's one of the things that even some of us, even though we go through groups and organizations, people don't see that we're paid. They just think we're free. No, you already paid for it. You're just getting it free at this time. Nothing about us is cheapened and lowered. Don't think just because we might do something at a discount, we're not going to give you quality. Just like Chisa's giving you all this. I'm hoping and praying that you all think you're getting quality from this. Might be free for you to get it, but it's quality you're getting, baby.
No, it's definitely quality. They already know. And so, the biggest thing that I would say, with this conversation is, I think the belief, right? Like we've been talking about kind of believing in yourself and just understanding, look, I have some shortcomings, but I know that I need to get better. So believing in the power that you have to get better in some way, shape, or form. So if you want to leave people with like one final thought, if they said, listen, I'm interested in becoming a client, or I really love what you had to say, what would that final thought be to maybe empower or motivate somebody to kind of get up off of the fence and make that jump over to say, I really do need some help? What would that be for them?
First thing is I'm going to say, if you've got the vision, that means it's doable. And if you keep getting the vision, that means it should be done. Sometimes it's timing, season, reason. And sometimes some people who are with you shouldn't be going with you. They're not bad people. They're just not there to go. You just need to get somebody who's on your team that's willing to listen to you, to ask you those questions, to really get to the heart of the matter, to make sure you're also not settling for what you know, what you see, to make your vision a reality. And then that's willing to give you steps and guidelines of things to look at and what to do to get there. It's about illuminating, getting that light. You're at a fork in the road. Let's light the pathway that's the best pathway for you. Not for me, not for anybody, the best pathway for you. And then you know what? When you know your lighted pathway, you'll first stop putting a hesitant step. Then when you start seeing that light is showing you where to go, you'll start walking. Then as you start walking, you're going to say, oh, I can run this. And all of a sudden, you're going to be running like a marathon runner, and then you're going to start sprinting to the end. And when those obstacles come, you're going to say, oh, that's just a hurdle jump. Hurdle right over it. And you say, oh, no, I got to pause for a moment, back up, and I'm going to do the long jump over you, because it's all about track and field, baby. You start at the start line, but it's all about getting to the finish line, and we're going to get you there.
All right. Now, listen, that's how you end it. Now, you see, like, this is what I'm talking about. So this is why we bring on some fabulous, amazing guests. And LaShon, you have definitely given people a lot to think about. And I hope that as this year and every year that people watch and listen, as it progresses, that people really just do understand. And I always say that they can do it, and so whatever the thing is that they believe in themselves, they can do it, but you also might need some help along that way. And that's exactly some of the things that you're providing. So I want to thank you so much for being on today, giving us all this good inspiration and wonderful energy, because we always need that. It gives me a smile on a good Monday when we record these episodes. And so anybody else, if you need anything from LaShon, her contact information will be listed below the video. If you're watching this on the replay, you're more than welcome to leave a comment, because I will screenshot those comments. I share them with our guests that are on. And, we just want to make sure that people continue to get a light shined on the great work that they're doing out here. So again, thank you so much for being on. Everybody else, you know what you got to do. You always have to make sure that you show up and show out and continue to give it to the people. And then we'll see you for another episode next week. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Give It to the People Live. We're here to help you with your mental wealth. And if you're looking for future events, you're looking for past podcast episodes, you're looking for our webinars, or anything that can help you grow your business acumen, make sure that you visit giveittothepeople.com.